Welcome to Surviving Life's Traumas and Dramas podcast, where me and my family have come together to share our experiences of our traumas and dramas and hopes it will provide you a place of comfort and encouragement with zero judgment. Just real conversations of our journeys so you never have to feel alone on yours. Negative self-talk and how it impacts us. And I don't know about you, but negative self-talk for me is terrible. Like, I have the worst negative self-talk when it comes to myself. Always telling myself that I'm not good enough. Always telling myself that I don't matter. Always telling myself that I'm alone, that I'm not pretty enough, or that I'm not worthy, or, you know, just so many bad thoughts in my head. And I don't know. I'm not the only one in this, right?
Absolutely not.
No.
I mean, I think I shared with you already, but like trying to get ready for the podcast because it was definitely a thing for me to be brave to do this because I don't like people most of the time. I'm just a very private person. And kind of like my own little bubble, but I don't know, like just like putting myself out there and like trying to get ready for this. I realized when I tried to record a video of myself, I don't even look in the bathroom mirror very much. Like except for when I'm doing my eyeshadow and like my hair. Like I like washing my hands in the bathroom. I don't check myself in the mirror. It's like seeing myself on like a video. I was like, oh, I don't like it. Like just all these negative things are going on in my head. And I'm like, really? Because then I have this whole debate with myself, but it's a thing.
I feel that.
I think a lot of people feel that, you know, we get in our heads too much. We hear a lot of voices of people that have spoke bad things to us, and you know, we hold on to that, kind of like what you were saying last time, and it's hard to get past that.
The thing about that too is people's negative opinions of other people, it screams so much louder than anything positive.
Yeah.
Somebody has to say anything encouraging, somebody has to say, and that's something that I struggle with a lot because you would think that you would gravitate more towards the positive. You would gravitate more towards the encouragement, but that is not what generally happens at all. It's a very like negative, very like kind of condemning in a way, you know, and it is something that I struggle with on a constant basis. My husband has to tell me, okay, let's get out of our head. You know that this is not true. You know that this is, you know, not gonna happen, because there's another thing about negative self-talk too. Somebody that struggles with anxiety, for me, because I struggle with anxiety so much, my negative self-talk is off the charts because I think to myself, oh, this is gonna happen. Like, it's kind of like I have to think about all the bad shit that's gonna happen first before the event has even taken place, or might not even take place. But it's just because I'm in my head so much about it that it's like, well, my husband's like, okay, yeah, let's not do that to ourselves. Let's think positively. Let's think about how this can be a good thing. Because negative self-talk, it can be bad for you. It could be bad for your heart. It can be bad for your soul.
Well, I know this is probably pretty twisted.
We like twisted. Just
Hopefully I'm not the only one that's ever felt this way, but like for me, like it's almost easier to believe the mean comments than it is to receive a compliment. Because if I get complimented, I feel like they want something.
Yeah.
Or they're manipulating me somehow. But if somebody says something bad, I'm like, oh, that's truth. They're just speaking their truth. Like, it's easier to receive that than it is a compliment, which is
I don't think that's
Not
suicidal.
good.
I think that's what almost every single person in the world does.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to accept the negative than the positive
Yeah.
when people say things to us.
Yeah, and
That's
it,
messed up.
It is. It's horrible.
and when people are in some kind of authority over you, it's worse. I remember after, was it the year? It was before my mother passed. I was in a first grade class, and I just knew I had all the problems right. And I took it up to her and I went, oh, you got that one wrong. Oh, and that one wrong. Oh, and that one wrong. Instead of telling me, that one's wrong, but you know what? You can do better. You
Yeah.
got this. It was all everything I did wrong. And I went back with I felt so defeated, like, I can't do this right. I can't, this ain't gonna happen right. And that stuck with me. And then years later into my adulthood, I went up to a pastor that I had at the time. And I shared with him that, because I love to sing, that my heart, that I desired, that I wanted to record. And because of his background, and he says, no, that's not gonna happen. Like, I wasn't good enough to sing. Like, my voice wasn't good enough. And my thought was, oh, he must know what he's talking about because of his background in music. And then a couple years later, I was singing at home, and before I got married, my husband loved me to sing. Christmas song and stuff, he loved me to sing. And then afterwards, it's like, don't sing that. And I'm like, oh, maybe my voice sucks. Maybe I'm not good enough. And that's what I'll say, like I said in the last one, it was like it took residence, a stronghold.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what, even though when people would want me to sing, then I had oh my God, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. They're going to make fun of me. They're going to laugh at me. I'm going to be off key, blah, 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 blah. But it's because those people in authority over me. And years later, I was singing something in a house, and my husband and he said, oh, you got a good voice. I said, I thought you didn't like my voice. You told me to quit singing. No, I just didn't like what you were singing. And instead of questioning way back then, I took it, what he said, because he was my husband authority over me, not over me, and I'm like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good. And so the anxiety of not being good enough because of authority figures speaking over me all my life, it just then negative. And then, after my mother passed and my dad got his custody back, the stepmom, she was just bad. And she made fun of my ears. Oh, go look at your ears. They're really ugly. And I was, I think, 9 at the time. And I looked in the mirror, and they were like my dad's ears. I thought, oh, she's right. And so ever since then, it's been in my head how ugly my ears are. So self-talk, even though it might not come out of your mouth, when other people self-talk to you, and it gets in your head because they know so much, it just kind of, the rejection of everything and how good enough I wasn't.
Well, that, and then it also plays into, if anything happens when you do put yourself out there and you fail, then you're like, they were right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You immediately go back to those comments and they were right. See,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. I shouldn't sing. I shouldn't do this.
So any of us doing any of this stuff is like, oh man. First time I did as my oldest grandson says, grandmother uploads. Because I was saying download, no, grandmother uploads. And so when I did I'm like, people are gonna think I'm, they're gonna laugh at me. They're gonna think And then because of the content, apparently people were, oh man, I feel the same way. I'm like, oh, there's someone out there. Yeah. So, but yeah, it plays a number. Whether it's from someone else and you get it in your head and it takes up residency, I call it a stronghold because it has to be busted up by our positive. It's like, so how do you be positive when you feel negative? How do you like, you know what, I am pretty enough. You know what, my voice, and my sister, she said, your voice sounds awesome. And I had people, because I was on the praise team, come up to me, and because I took everyone forgot a song, and I knew the song and I really wanted to take the lead and no one remembered it. The music was playing, so I started singing it. It was in my range and everything. And I had two people come up to me afterwards that were in the audience and compliment how beautiful my voice was. And I'm like, really? You know, I just, really? I'm like, wow. Yeah. So, yeah.
So how come I've never heard you sing?
Right?
Me either.
Because of the fact that it's like, am I good enough?
You definitely.
Now it's because of the even though now I have two pianos, I can't let the volume go up there because of the sensitiveness of the sound, and I don't want someone saying how crappy I sound. I don't have the confidence that I won't be put down. That's why. Because of. And now I haven't practiced enough to where I think I sound crappy. So I practice on the way to and from at the gym in the mornings, but I don't need to hear how bad I am.
Yeah.
And I don't trust that I won't hear that.
I get that.
Yeah.
Totally get that. For me too, like the negative self-talk that comes to my mind that has been so heavy in my head for years is, you know, when and my ex, his family would tell me that I didn't have a normal birthing experience because I had C-sections.
Oh yeah.
And because
Such
of that,
bullshit.
I always felt like I wasn't a good mom. Like that led to the thinking of, okay, well, if I'm not having a good birthing experience, then I'm not a good mom. Because also too, this individual overrid me as a mom all the time. And it just reiterated to me everything this individual would say, that not only am I not a good mom, not only even though I got pregnant with them, carried them, and birthed them just because it wasn't their way of doing it, their own experience. It took me so many years, and it took my husband telling me, you are an amazing mom. And it took me, oh my God, at least 7 years of him and I being married to be like, you know what, you're right. I kind of am a good mom. And he's like, no, you're not kind of a good mom. You are a good mom. And so it was his positive speaking into my head for years. I finally realized I am a good mom. But it's because that negative talk spoke so much louder that I'm like, I'm not a good mom. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not a good mom. And I kept going, having that thought in my head that I'm not a good mom. I love my kids with everything, but I'm not a good mom. But that's okay because I still love my kids. But when the truth was, I am a good mom, this individual was just, I don't know what their deal was, but
Just evil.
that too.
People all can be evil.
Yeah, and it was, and how they made me feel within that, and just their negativity between them and their child. It was mountains high of negative self-talk regarding that you're not a good parent, thinking that you're not a good person, thinking that you're not a good wife, thinking just that you're just walking around just being, existing.
Yeah.
You know? That's really hard.
They're not good enough in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you don't, and yeah, it's just, it was hard.
Hearing your all's experience, I feel like I have very different negative self-talk. And it's kind of because I don't have those thoughts. So I don't think I'm not pretty enough or not smart enough or anything like that. And I think because of that, and because I genuinely do not give a damn what people think, genuinely, could care less, it gives me a persona where I think I'm better than people. And that's my negative self-talk, where I feel like whenever I'm talking to someone or whenever I'm have any kind of a relation with someone that they are thinking about me that I think I'm better than them. And like I give off a persona where I'm like, well, because I don't really care what you think, I think I'm better than you anyway. And that makes me feel insecure. And there's been someone in my life at some point who told me that I think I'm better than them. And it's not somebody that because as I said, I don't care. Really, there's like a handful of people I actually give a shit about their opinion. This person is not one of them. But ever since then, I feel like it's kind of like amped up. And this was like 15 years ago. But it's amped up to where I feel like I'm always in my head, like, okay, but if I say this thing, does that mean that they're going to think I'm better than them? Or if I do this thing, or if I act a certain way, because I do have a tendency of like coming into a room and I'm not like instantly ready to please people. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like, what can I do for you? How can I make you feel more comfortable? And it's not because I don't care, because I do care about people. It's just because it's just not who I am. And I think that people have to take care of themselves. You know what I mean? So because I've taken care of myself. So that's really the piece of negative self-talk that I have, which is different, but kind of all correlates in with feeling some kind of insecurity, and it makes us behave a certain way, say certain things.
Well, that's an interesting spin too, because it almost seems like your negative self-talk is because you're a strong, confident woman, which you should be proud of.
Double-edged sword. Double-edged sword. Screw the patriarchy.
Like you've set healthy boundaries for yourself because you do know who you are. You know, it's like you're not talking about me that way because that's not who I am. This is who I am. So I think it's actually a positive thing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I wish I was like that.
Yeah, well, that, I mean, you and me over the last 20 years have hung out, I don't know, maybe a handful of times. I've never got that in
Thank you.
person.
I'm validated, dang it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Like, even just seeing you, like, with your family over the holidays, you know, this season, you know, just going through everything. You are an absolutely wonderful wife and mother.
Oh, thank
And
you.
that's 100% genuine.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that.
You know,
Thank
I mean,
you.
We're obviously just getting to know each other now, but I love how confident you are.
Thanks.
Like,
I
and,
appreciate that.
you know, just kind of, for me, like, you're one of the types of women that I would love to have as an example in my life.
Oh, God.
So.
I don't take friends from this
I mean, it's true. Like,
No, I appreciate that though. I really appreciate that. And I think, I see it like the other way where I think that you all, like admitting on camera in front of who knows how many people that you're feeling these insecurities, it's amazing. Like it's actually amazing to be able to admit that. And it is a security and a strength to be able to do that. And for Aunt Tammy, for you have this insecurity stemming back from when you were just a little girl. And this teacher that maybe you don't even remember her name, I don't know.
No.
But that takes so much strength to admit that. And I think so many people are gonna resonate with that.
yeah.
So many people.
Yeah.
That you probably, as you've had these, you know, harmful things that you've thought about yourself, other people, they can feel that too, but they don't want to admit that out loud because people feel isolated in that. And they feel like, well, I'm the only one that feels that way because why would anybody feel that way? So many people, almost everybody feels that way. So it takes a lot of strength. So I'm proud of all of you ladies for doing that.
I'm proud of you too.
Well, it's interesting because my first book I wrote, I talked about that and how instead of her saying you can do better and this and that, and then years later when I was in beauty school, there was a movie, and I don't remember the movie. I remember she's a doctor, and I remember that she went into a closet and was thinking about it. She was diagnosed with dyslexia. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I realized that was the issue.
Yeah.
And so, and then another thought, you can never write a book. You can never, because I'm like, there's editors. you
That's
know?
what they're there for.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
nowadays there's AI. It'll
Yep.
write it for you.
Yeah, and
Yep.
like Grammarly and all this, and I've realized, and it's like, just because this might be an issue doesn't mean that I can't do this, because the books that I've written, that's part of my healing.
Yep.
And that's part of what I've recognized through seeing my family through generations go, wait a minute, this is the same thing. You just walked in, and it's like, it's what I've said before, it's the familiar, that's what we know. You know, and how I explain it in the different books, but it's people in authority really have to be careful what they say,
Yes, they do.
you know, because it's like it'll get into
Our head.
yeah, I was talking to a grandson the other day about some things he was dealing with at school, and I'm like, it's because it's what's getting in their head. It's because that's what they're being taught,
Yep.
you know. And I said, you gotta understand that, and so he was he vented a good long time. It was like really interesting from his perspective.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, because you're thinking, you know, he's thinking logically.
Yeah.
It's like you're not allowing other people to tell you what you think.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That he's able to do that.
Yeah, it is, and it's really sad that, you know, this people, their negative self-talk, you know, will get into our head and become, oh, that's who I am. That's you know, it's what happened to me with the singing, and oh, I'm not good enough, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I had to talk to my daughter's school several times because her teacher, and my daughter's very sensitive to what people say. She's definitely a girly girl, and like if you say one thing to her, like she holds on to it. And all her teacher was doing was pointing out all of her negatives every day. Like never any acknowledgement of anything good. To the point where he was messaging me all the negative things too. So I can only imagine what he was saying to her in the classroom. So we had to bring in the principal to encourage him to find positives to talk about, because there are. Like she is a huge caretaker for other students in the classroom, but she does have a lot of energy, you know. So like finding a way to help her instead of just constantly pointing out all the bad, because then she feels like she's a bad kid. So why even try to be good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was something that her and I struggled with: is you're not a bad kid.
Right.
But when that's all she's hearing at school, why even try to be good? You know, and that's just, it's really sad. Like I'm very disappointed in the public school system.
Yeah. Kind of piggyback off of what you were saying regarding dyslexia, because I also have dyslexia. It has impacted my life in the way of negative self-talk as well, because I, like your teacher, you know, making you feel certain ways. I've had teachers and people, bosses, telling me, oh, you're not smart enough for this, or you can't do this, or when really I am smart enough. You guys just don't understand my learning style.
Exactly.
And so much, in fact, now that I understand it a lot more and how to manage it, I can understand to tell people how to help me learn.
Yeah.
You know, which I think is important. And also, I make fun of myself a lot because I really don't give a shit that I have dyslexia. I'm like, it's just a part of me, and if you don't like it, you can kiss ass. Like, for real. And so I'm constantly making fun of myself, and I noticed, even though this is kind of twisted, but me making fun of myself is helping me being like, fuck everybody else that makes me feel like shit for having something that I can't control. Honestly.
I was talking to one of the grandsons about dyslexia and how I've learned to, like with math and different things, and with reading, and how I've learned to know that I have to go back and double check, or have Dad look at the check, you know, make sure that I wrote the right, you know.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to the grandson and, you know, saying, you know what, our brains just work different. We are smart.
Yeah.
Brain just works totally different. Don't mean you don't not smart, just means that's the way. And the smile on his face when I was talking to, he didn't admit anything, but the smile, like, oh my God, Grandma helped me, or she understands,
Yeah.
you know, and when I was reading with him when he was younger and didn't, you know, he put a letter in front of a word and nope, that's okay, go back, you can do this. And just the encouragement
Yep.
gave him the confidence,
Yep.
you know, and so it just, yeah, I wish teachers understood that.
That would be helpful. Teachers, bosses,
Mm-hmm.
just people in general. It would be really nice for them to look at the human aspect part of learning and understand that even though they are required to a certain degree to follow a curriculum, you still can be human towards your students. You could still be positive and kind of like what you were saying about, you know, reading. It's like, you can do this. I understand you and I see you.
Mm-hmm.
And here, because I understand and see you, I'm gonna help you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
If we had more teachers and people, like I said, just in general, that can recognize that not everybody's the same, and that's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. I think a lot of what we have experienced wouldn't be so prevalent
Yeah.
at all.
It wouldn't. It feels like everybody has to fall into boxes.
Yes.
And they do it, you know, in the school system, and they do it even like the healthcare system. You know, kids need to meet these certain expectations
Right.
by these certain times. My youngest son, it took him a while to start talking. And, you know, the pediatrician was like, well, maybe we should do speech therapy. And I was like, let's just give him just a little bit more time. Just a little bit more time. Within 2 months, the kid, and now he never shuts up. Like, he just started yapping and he didn't stop.
On his own schedule.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit more time. And it would give so much more grace to everyone and make everyone feel so much more accepted and okay within their own skin if we could allow a little bit of wiggle room for things.
Well, and you know, something that we're going to be talking about in, you know, our next episode, but apologizing because I have dyslexia, because, you know, I feel bad or whatever, I've always apologized. Hold on, time out. I'm apologizing to somebody else because of something I can't control.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, see, and I always recognize, like, at Bible studies, that I know when I'm not able to get the words out that they're on the page, my brain, it's not coming out of my
Right,
mouth, it's
yeah.
not coming out right, I'm fumbling over words, I'm this and that, and I'd say, no, someone else take over. I know when it's a weekday,
Yeah.
but I know when it's like, zoop, and, you know, going right through it, because and the older I've gotten, the less it's gotten.
Yeah.
But also the more I'm able to work with it because I understand how to work with it
Yeah.
now.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and I think that's part of the negative self-talk, right? Is that not only are people negatively self-talking about you in some kind of form or fashion, but even how we learn, how we grow, how we develop. Like you were saying, people put us in boxes, and because of those boxes that people put us in, it becomes so negative. Well, because you don't fit in my perfect world, because you don't fit in how you're supposed to fit in, I'm gonna make you feel like shit about it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna carry that for the rest of your life. And obviously, I don't think that people honestly intend for people to carry that through for the rest of their lives, but that's what happens.
Yeah.
Sadly, some people like to be evil.
Yeah.
Yes. God.
You know, and some people, you know, don't realize it.
Yeah.
And you know, when they say, you know what, I know I can treat you better. I know you deserve better. So they recognize it, but they don't know how to stop it. But then there's people that's like, how much harm can I do to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they love putting other people through misery. And that, they're sick. That's all there is to it. They-
Well, putting other people down makes them feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I've been belittled all my life, so how can I belittle someone so I can feel better about myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a sad thing.
Yeah.
It is. It is an absolute constant conversation that we have in my household with my kids. Constant. Because like they're never good enough. And it's not even necessarily from my kids' experience with teachers as much as it is their peers. And so it's constantly talking with them about who's telling them this stuff at home that make them have to go to school and tell you the same thing. You know, and it doesn't excuse it. But do you think they actually really think that stuff? Or do you think they're taking a little insecurity you might have and preying on it because some authority figure at some point has done that to them.
And something that I've learned over the years, to me, words are red flags. If someone's saying something like years back, someone, the person said something, I'm like, why would he say that? Even though it wasn't something that was mean to me, it was something letting me know something that is like, why would you tell me that? So words are really, to me, they're very important. And if someone is they're going to say what they feel. And if they say something that's a little bit, even if you just met them, they say something that's a little bit belittling, they're negative, they're talking about someone else. I have learned that if someone is going to talk about someone else, they're going to talk about you too.
Right? Yep.
So it's like,
That's
okay,
100%.
do I want to be friends with this? It just, I've learned really to listen to what people say
Yeah.
because it's what they feel. Oh, I didn't mean that. Well, it's what you said.
Yeah.
Well, blah, 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 whatever excuse.
Well, even with jokes, because you had mentioned earlier, I'm just joking, like, don't take it so serious. Even within jokes, usually there's like a trace amount of what that person's thinking.
Yeah.
Yes, it's covered in a joke, but
Mm-hmm.
if they're saying something mean, like, they came from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's-
Yeah. And when you're told to chill out because they were joking, it's like, okay, you hurt my feelings and I have to chill out because you were joking? What's going on there? It's.
But you know why? It's because you called them out and now they're uncomfortable because you
Yep.
called them out.
That's a really good point.
And that's where I start apologizing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll save that for another time.
Yeah. Good old apologizing.
Yeah. Or people say, well, they said, I've heard, okay, on TV or different shows I've watched, well, he didn't mean it, and, or if you get smacked, I've never been smacked. He didn't mean it, he said he was sorry, and that's another probably. I don't know if any
So
of us
with
have
that though, talk about negative self-talk. Do you know how many times I've had to defend the manipulator because of their bad behavior?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many times, including their bad behavior, that also caused for negative self-talk? Because here I am defending their bad behavior to the people that I love. Oh, he didn't mean it that way. Oh, he didn't mean to do that. Oh, those behaviors, that's just who he is. You can ignore that. But then you start looking at yourself and you're like, oh shit.
Yep.
I just defended somebody else's bad behavior, and then what does that say about me? And then boom, there goes the negative self-talk. Oh, you really are a bad person then. Oh, you really are negative then. Oh, you really are all these things that you've been told you are, because now you're defending the person that's hurting you. And with that, thank you for subscribing to Surviving Life's Traumas and Dramas podcast. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. See you next time.